The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Defending series champion Terry Rinker proved his hard work in the offseason paid off as he took the opening race of the 2006 ChampBoat Grand Prix Series. Now that he has won, can he put together a string of wins to start the season?
We've been working so great, the team is doing great, and we're ready to go. I think it's going to be 2 in a row.
Tim Siebold of the Bud Light team chased Rinker all over the race course in Bay City, Michigan, but in the end came up less than 2 seconds short of winning. Can he find that added something needed to win this weekend?
We're breaking out the new boat for all the rough water here in Cincinnati.
Rookie Sean Torrente thought he had a great chance for victory in Bay City until he crashed out while in second place, ending his dreams of victory. Now at a site where he dominated a year ago, can he keep the magic going for another try here on the Ohio?
We like the river, we like the rough water, and we've done the testing. We can definitely make it 2 in a row.
So drivers from 2 different continents have come to the Ohio River to challenge this rough course for another season. Some drivers are hoping to feast on past success, while other drivers are hoping to phone in their secrets for victory. It's a real toss-up whenever competitors get together, as the 2006 ChampBoat Grand Prix Series and the Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix get ready to splash into the action next. The banks of the Ohio River here in lovely Greater Cincinnati. It's the second round of the 2006 ChampBoat Powerboat Racing Series, the Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix. Hi everybody, I'm Steve Michael along with my partner Wally Shaver, and we welcome you to a lovely day of racing, we hope. Well, yesterday the drivers struggled through tough conditions on the water. Wally, I'll tell you something, the recent rains in the Northeast really affected the racing on Saturday.
Boy, no question about it, Steve. The water levels have been steadily rising all weekend. Consequently, it's getting debris off the banks, it's bringing back down the river, and a few guys have lunched up some gear housings here over the weekend so far.
Yeah, Sean Torrente, the man from Miami, on the pole a year ago, and he won the race. He's on the pole again today.
And he's looked very fast. He loves this. This really launched his career a year ago when he won 2 different classes here. This is like home ice for Sean.
Yeah, for Terry Rinker, the man out of Tampa, Florida, he won the opening round in Bay City. He's starting number 2 today.
And I like the way Terry's looked so far. He's told us before that he wants to get a fast start to the season like he did a year ago when he won the championship, and he certainly has proven that so far this weekend.
4-time champion Tim Siebold will be starting 3rd, but a dark horse who's behind us, Wyatt Nelson, starting in that 6th spot, but he's got an all-carbon boat. It'll be interesting to see how he survives the river today.
It might be a little bit tougher hull design, and that could help deflect that odd piece of wood that comes down the river. Should that be a factor with some of the top fastest drivers, Steve, Wyatt Nelson is going to be a contender.
Should be an exciting day of racing. We'll come back and start things off at the Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix when we turn right after this timeout. The ChampBoat Grand Prix Series on Speed is brought to you by the all-new Rudy Revolution Sports Energy Drink, and by Amsoil, first in synthetics, and by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Welcome back to the Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix, and before we get focused on the racing action, let's take time out to give you a visual postcard of this lovely area of southern Ohio and northern Kentucky here on the majestic Ohio River. A year ago, young Miami, Florida driver Sean Torrente had no points, no wins, and no experience in ChampBoat. Today, he's the defending champion of the Greater Cincinnati race. We asked him about his winning weekend of 12 months ago and how it's changed his life.
It was a little surreal at the time. Didn't set in for a good week or so until we went to the next race and everybody was congratulating me that hadn't seen me here. And it was a it was a unique experience. I say to most people that I'll never have a weekend like that again, you know, that you get to feel like that. But by the same token, I feel like my next win in Champ is going to be a little more special because to us it won't be a surprise. You know, we can really enjoy it. Basically, I'm from Miami and they're from California, so you can't get much further away than that. And so they started calling us East West Express, and all my crew guys are from California, and it's just me and my dad and my grandfather from Miami. So that's how we became the East West Express. We're going to work hard, and I made sure I worked extra hard to get comfortable in the new boat, and so we can give them a chance at a championship. And you know, I made a mistake in Bay City. We had a really good run going, and I let the boat get away from me. I was a little impatient. So we're going to try and be a little more patient here, but by the same token, still be aggressive. In Bay City, after Saturday, everybody's coming up to me and telling me to relax and not drive so hard, and I kind of told them this is the way I am. I ain't changing now. I can make some better decisions, but I'm still going to be aggressive. But right now, my future is this year and trying to win a championship and take it away from the yellow team, and we're going to try and do that every race. You know, we expect to contend for the championship. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. I got great equipment. I got great crew guys. I got great support, period. I got a great boat. All I need to do is take care of my end, and we'll be there. You know, I'm still a rookie, and that showed in Bay City when I, you know, made the mistake, but I think we're gonna overcome.
Extremely hot temperatures and a pair of heat races have helped set the field for today's race. Last year was Sean Torrente leading the way. Let's find out who will start on the pole and check the full field of drivers for today's Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix. Chris Fairchild of Paw Paw, Illinois, who finished 11th a year ago, starts 5th in the Hooters-sponsored boat. Brian Norman from Louisiana started his career here a year ago, and he's qualified a career best 4th. Points leader Terry Rinker of Tampa, Florida, is looking for his second straight win in 2006.
Well, I think we got a good chance. The motor's firing good off the dock. I'm thinking that the Rinker Boat Company AMSOIL team is going to come charging through the pack, and if we don't get them early, you know, the race is 50 laps. We've got a lot of time to reel them in and try and get up front.
Tim Seabold from St. Louis, Missouri, is looking for his 20th career win as he starts second this afternoon.
Hey, I'd rather be second than third. You know, puts the Bud Light boat in a good position, and you know, with all the trash in the water, it's going to be survival out there.
The man on the pole who lit up the water for the second straight year is Sean Torrente from Miami, Florida. He's on pole position.
Yesterday, after we won the heat, we were checking the boat to put it away and had some serious damage on the boat. We were about to actually lose a complete sponson, so we had to go to the backup boat this morning, but it ran really good in the second heat, and we were able to still get the pole. So we were concerned at first, but we did a lot of testing, and we're ready to go.
Here's the rest of the field for today's Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix. Starting in the 6th position will be Wyatt Nelson out of Syracuse, New York. In the 7th spot will be Uzo Ukawa, the driver from Tokyo, Japan. In the 8th position will be Jeff Shepard from Tennessee. In the 9th spot will be Lynn Simberger from Illinois. In the 10th spot will be Canadian Brian Venton from Ontario. In the 11th spot will be Ned Mihalovich from Florida. And rounding out the field will be Randy Rinker from Indiana. So there you have it, drivers from 3 different nations around the world ready to take on a very challenging Ohio River for today's Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix. One of the newest and most talked about innovations in the area of safety this season centers around the new protective driver's seat. Here's 4-time ChampBoat champion Tim Seabold to explain.
Well, one area that we wanted to improve is driver safety and comfort. The more comfortable the driver is, the better he can drive for a longer period of time without getting tired. So we developed a custom seat, and it looks like styrofoam balls, and you put resin in it, and then you lay it in the boat, and the driver actually sits in it while it dries. So it forms exactly around the driver's body and to the boat. So when you're seated into this seat, you're exactly in the position you want to be, and you don't have to hold yourself in. This seat is made from a material called creofoam, and it is the same type of material that they make helmet liners out of. So basically it's like putting your body inside a helmet, which is a big advantage in safety.
As the Bud Light boat is heading into the water, we're still picking up debris, and we'll be back to start the Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix when we return right after this. Welcome back to the south shore of the mighty Ohio River here in Newport, Kentucky, just across the lovely city of Cincinnati for round number 2 of the 2006 ChampBoat Grand Prix Series. As the drivers and crews just moments away from the start of this 50-lap odyssey, there's Brian Norman getting ready to go. There's Brian Benton, the Canadian driver, Chris Fairchild and Ned Mihaljevic. Well, let's take a look at our pole sitter one more time. This man, Sean Torrente out of Miami, hopes to make it 2 times in a row. He won from the pole in 2005. And here are the points as we stand. Terry Rinker leads the championship by 31 points over Tim Sebold, Wyatt Nelson third, and rookie Brian Norman 94 points back in the 5th position. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. With Sean Torrente on the pole, Terry Rinker is going to have to work a little bit harder to move himself up quickly, and Wyatt Nelson may be the dark horse of the day back in that 6th starting position. All eyes glued in the official starter seconds before the start. 50 laps around this afternoon on a very hot day, but this current is going to be strong. And they're underway, and they come off the dock. And yes, Sean Torrente jumps off to the lead. Terry Rinker trying to slide his way past Tim Sebold as they go side by side underneath the bridge and work their way now toward the west side of the course through turns number 3 and 4. We can see our leader, Sean Torrente, side by side. A great battle going on for Tim Sebold as he tries to guard his 2nd position on the inside, and on the outside, Terry Rinker staying right with him. And now the Florida driver inches ahead just barely and moves himself 2 boat lengths out in front of the 4-time national champion. Rinker now trying to stretch out the margin underneath the bridge and accelerates away down the back straightaway for the first time. This Ohio River, which took so much debris, this river has been churned up to the max, and the drivers are going to be very careful from these torrential rains that have been coming down the last couple of weeks that have really swollen the water here. Sean Torrente in full flight, reaching speeds of 130 miles an hour in front of this massive crowd here in Newport, Kentucky. And you can see that Rinker is right behind him in 2nd place, and Brian Norman starting to push hard from that 4th place position. Upstairs, a lovely shot from the bridge, and you can see Torrente whistling by. Here you see Terry Rinker as he goes down the back straightaway, going for career win number 10 as he goes into 3. And oh my, he almost blew the boat over. Oh, I don't know how he saved it. He was able to get it on edge. He set the boat back on the right spots, and then on the left, it almost barrel rolled in the corner. He was a very, very lucky man to save that boat. But the many years and championships that he's won on the water, obviously his skills saved the day for him. So Sean Torrente continues to build up on his lead. He's had a great run. Oh no, we've lost Chris Fairchild, our driver from Illinois. Just 2 laps into the event, and his boat has gone silent right in front of the start pontoon. So as Fairchild has his boat towed back toward the crane, we look back on the water. There's Brian Norman, the rookie driver, 1-time offshore veteran who is really starting to get the hang of this inshore racing. And there's the battle for 2nd place going on. Tim Sebold on the inside now has worked his way around Terry Rinker, and Sebold is trying to make his escape, but on the backside of the race course, you can see the speed that David Lee designed yellow boat from Alabama puts on. The boat that Tim Sebold has built himself out of St. Louis. This is his new 2006 edition, and it's great racing back and forth. Sebold now trying to muster up a little bit of real estate between he and Terry Rinker, and he's getting the job done as he goes through turns 1 and 2 on the backside. Over toward the Ohio side, now in the back straightaway. Sebold trying to make his escape. And as we go back to our leader, you can see Sean Torrente all by himself. He's about a 1/4 of a lap lead on the rest of the field as he comes out of turn number 4. This race here in Cincinnati has got a great tradition. It goes back to 1984, back in the days when they used to run V8s on this race course. And over the years, the fans here in Cincinnati have just loved the racing. And oh no, there's something wrong with Tim Sebold's boat. He goes right toward the middle of the course and almost hits and T-bones on the back straightaway a couple of drivers as he goes through. And on the replay, you can see him heading right toward some of the traffic that's coming by him on the back straightaway. Luckily, he wasn't T-boned. We don't know what happened, but the airbag was deployed, and Tim Sebold somehow now scrambling his way back toward the start dock. Obviously, he's got a major problem with the steering in that boat. So as they try to solve Tim Sebold's problem, here are the standings after 30 laps, with Sean Torrente leading. Terry Rinker now slides up into 2nd place, and rookie Brian Norman in 3rd. We'll come back to the mighty Ohio and continue on with this Greater Cincinnati Grand Prix right after this timeout. Welcome back to the second round of the 2006 ChampBoat Grand Prix Series. And here's what happens to a ChampBoat on the Ohio River when it has problems. Tim Siebold out of St. Louis, Missouri was sitting there in second place in the Bud Light machine. And then here's what happens. All of a sudden at 130 miles an hour, the boat starts strangely drifting across the course. And oh my, the airbag deploys and it almost gets T-boned by not one, but two or three boats. And somehow he was able to slow it down and stop it. Let's hear what happened to the driver from St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, we broke a prop on about lap 15, but we were still able to hold our position. And actually, we were pulling up on Sean a little bit, but then from the vibration, it got so bad because one blade was completely gone. It started to make the gear case go away and resulting in the steering bar breaking. And then I lost my steering. That's when it did the 90-degree turn down the front straightaway.
A scary situation, and we go back now to a restart with Sean Torrente, the driver from Miami, Florida, on the pole. And the remaining field of drivers ready to go for the final 20 laps of this 50-lap odyssey on a very, very hot day on the Ohio. And they're away, and they come off the dock, and Sean Torrente immediately jumps out in front of Terry Rinker, who drifts back just a bit. Brian Norman in third place challenges, and now the driver from Louisiana tucks in behind the driver from Florida. And as they go through the west end through turns number 3 and 4, Sean Torrente has got a perfect hole shot, and look at him fly along the course as he builds up speeds of close to 135 miles an hour. And now on the outside, Terry Rinker is really being pushed hard by Brian Norman, the rookie offshore driver who has switched to inshore powerboat racing, and he just loves it. He started a year ago here in Cincinnati for his first ever race, and he's driving a Hoffman hull built out of California, and it seems to suit him just fine, thank you very much, as he goes running for Rookie of the Year honors, and he's having a whale of an afternoon. So Torrente builds up a bit of a lead now. Here's Brian Norman trying to chase down Terry Rinker. Rinker would just love to come up with 2 wins in a row here in 2006, but he's got to figure out a way to get around Sean Torrente as we watch Brian Norman go through. A little farther back in the pack is Jeff Shepard, the driver from Tennessee, and the Hooters boat is putting on a great show himself. He's sitting back in that 4th place position and now is charging up, and he's trying to stay up with the leaders as he is having a whale of an afternoon. He finished 6th at the first round in Bay City, and he would love to come onto the podium for the very first time in his career. Terry Rinker comes whistling down the front straightaway. A very unusual looking boat built by David Lee out of Alabama, but it seems to suit him just fine. It's his 3rd year of running this boat, and it seems to be really working. Oh, no, we've lost Sean Torrente. Oh, no, the driver from Miami, Florida will not get a chance to win for the 2nd straight year here in Cincinnati as the boat goes silent on the outside of turn number 2. And you can imagine the heartbreak that's being felt in the cockpit right now by this young 28-year-old driver. And oh no, Terry Rinker almost blew it over, not for the first time, but for the second time. Somehow he saved it, and it just shows you how fast this driver, with less than 4 laps to go in this event, is pushing his boat. Terry Rinker now trying to hold off this man, Brian Norman, as this rookie driver from Louisiana is having a whale of an afternoon. He's about 4 seconds behind Terry Rinker, and he's trying to close up on him, but time's a-wasting here. We're running out of laps, and it looks like the driver from Louisiana is going to have to do his best to try to close up quickly because he's running out of time. Right behind him is Jeff Shepard, but he's a lap down, but he's sitting in 3rd place. Terry Rinker comes by one more time in front of a large crowd here in Newport, Kentucky, looking across at the lovely vantage point of a historical race here on the Ohio. We've had a lot of debris on the race course all weekend long that has caused havoc. A lot of boats being broken up, but they got the boats back, and the crews have done a professional job in getting them back out into the water today, and the crowd's loving it. Rinker out of turn number 3 through 4. As this race is really winding down, Rinker goes wide. He comes down, looks up at the checkered flag, and he crosses the line. And Terry Rinker is 2 for 2 for 2006. And the driver with the Rinker Boats AMSOIL-sponsored machine has to be pleased. Terry Rinker has won 2 in a row in 2006. Back with more from Cincinnati right after this. The ChampBoat Grand Prix Series on Speed is brought to you by the all-new Rudy Revolution Sports Energy Drink. And by AMSOIL, first in synthetics. And by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Well, here he is. Terry Rinker coming away with a victory today, his second straight of the season. Let's hear from the man who thought he had a win, Sean Torrente.
Yeah, the motor threw a rod, but we had a good weekend, and we got a decent finish. I think we got a 7th or 8th out of it, I guess, because we lapped so many boats. I really need to thank my crew. They busted their butt. We were running a backup boat, and we were still covering the field, and they did their job, and I did my job, and we just had some bad luck, and we'll get it turned around.
With Sean Torrente disappointed, another driver was elated. Here's Jeff Shepard, who finished 3rd.
We were just trying to dodge the stuff. That was our race. But it turned out to be the way to go. We really had a good run, and I got to thank God that we got around all the stuff because he was steering us around it.
Lynn Simberger finished 4th here in Cincinnati. Uzo Okawa finished 5th. Let's hear from the man who finished in 2nd, Brian Norman.
We did good until probably lap 46 or so, and we hit a log or something. We tore up the gear case and the propeller, and everything went to rattling and shaking, and we knew something was wrong. We was just trying to hold on for 4 more laps.
As we run down the full results this afternoon, yes, Sean Torrente dropping out, taking 7th place. Tim Siebold, he failed to finish. Wyatt Nelson and Chris Fairchild both failed to finish. Let's hear from our winner, Terry Rinker.
It was tough to finish this race, and with all the stuff in the river and people blowing up motors. Fortunately, the AMSOIL Rinker team was able to keep it all together and finish the whole 50 laps. And you obviously got to finish first. We were dicing a little bit, and I'd pull up on him and pushing him hard enough. I guess he appeared to have caught a wave in the turn. I think his motor might have over revved when the boat got up on its side, and I guess he threw a rod through the side. And fortunately, I hit the same wave, but my motor stayed together. It was just a little bit of luck, but I'll take some luck no matter what.
Well, after 2 rounds of the series, Terry Rinker now has a 125-point lead. Brian Norman sliding up on Tim Siebold, who's in 2nd place. As you can see, the rest of the field still pretty tight. It's a long way to go. On a day that may spell out a new era in ChampBoat racing, Terry Rinker wins, but Brian Norman and Jeff Shepard, new drivers, on the podium with him. Well, as the celebration continues, we salute the Rudy Hardcharger Award for Jeff Shepard, who started 8th and finished his first podium ever in 3rd. As we recap the race here in Cincinnati, Sean Torrente had a great start, and then Tim Siebold had problems on the course, and then so did Torrente. And Terry Rinker wins the race on a wonderful afternoon. We're off to Minneapolis for Wally Shaver. I'm Steve Michael saying so long from Cincinnati, Ohio.